Hey guys, Blade Check 101 coming at you with another video. Today I wanted to go over a relatively new topic for me, but I wanted to kind of intro it with this. I want to talk about centerline knife carry, whether we're talking about folding knives or fixed blades. I've been getting more and more into carrying blades on my centerline. That is to say 11 pretty much to 1 o'clock on my person, keeping blades basically within reach of both hands, and that's what I'm kind of going to get into with this. Um, is you know how is it going to be easier to carry a knife this way versus other ways? What are the advantages of carrying a knife forward of your hips as opposed to on your hips, on your side, or on the small of your back or anywhere back here? Now, of course, we all know that the most common way to carry a folding knife is your strong side, mostly uh, front pocket. It's a very simple way to get to. You're just standing there like this, and we can get our knife and draw it relatively quickly. Um, that being said, whether we're talking about a utility circumstance, some sort of situation where, maybe your right hand is doing something and you need to get to your folder, and all the way, over here. And it's not that it's difficult, but it is, relatively inconvenient. Getting more in depth with it, tactically speaking, in a defensive situation, our right hand may not be available. We might either try to be retaining a firearm. We could be trying to just keep an oncoming attack away. We could be doing a number of things with either hand. And so basically carrying something in a position where we can easily get to it with both hands, and that's the key, easily get to it with both hands, is going to be much more successful. Now, getting into, you know, being able to get a knife um, with your offhand, let's say. So, we're trying to block an oncoming attack or keep someone at bay with our dominant hand. Reaching all the way across the body to get to even a fixed blade is kind of obvious. I mean, you're stretching your entire arm, you're moving your entire body over here just to get to your fixed blade. Well, you're drawing a lot of attention to this. You're drawing a large amount of attention straight to this arm, basically making the attacker go, oh, wait a minute, and stopping your arm from being able to get to it. That's why I don't favor cross pistol draws. I don't, favor even cross knife draws all the way over here to get to a blade. To me, it just seems relatively foolish. You're trying to keep someone away and trying to get to a secondary weapon that you can actually defend yourself with, and you're making these loud movements of trying to go all the way over here to get to it. And under stress, who knows if you'll even be able to do that. So that being said, let's get into why centerline is such a nice idea, and that's going to be both hands really can get to it. Plain and simple. I have on me the Dirk Pinkerton Meyer Co. collaboration, the Warning, in the Meyer Co. line. Basically, what I've done to it is I have taken the clip off. I've unscrewed the clip. I have drilled the holes a little bit wider and put some Kydex rivets through there, some nickel rivets like you would use for any normal Kydex sheath, and been able to fit it for my mini tech lock for horizontal carry. Very simple adjustment. Rivets aren't expensive and they're very easy to attach. Not a big deal. Some other examples, you could use the K-Bar TDI knife. You could use Columbia River Knife and Tool has that new the small pocket everyday Warncliffe or Spew knife. They also have the Minimalist. The SE Azula, that's a very popular blade, and it does have that nice belt sheath where I think it usually comes with a clip where you can actually attach it in several different ways. Definitely a nice idea on that one. There's a ton of different blades out there. As long as it's a small fixed blade, I find that anything with a 3.5-inch blade or over tends to be too big. It tends to start now printing and revealing itself on, that you do in fact have a knife on you. So something small is going to be very effective. You don't need a Bowie knife to cut. You know, any knife will pretty much cut as long as it's sharp, as long as you take good care of it, and as long as you carry it when, you know, when the situation arises, as long as you have it on you when the situation arises, it's going to serve you well. Um, that being said, it's a nice small little knife, conceals very, very easily right there, you know, and it's very inconspicuous, nice to have. Um, so, you know, let's say that I have my firearm on me on this side, and I'm, you know, being attacked. Someone goes to grab it, and I want to, you know, trap their hand on it, taking a step back, of course, trying to keep them away from it, but they just want that thing. Well, while this hand can do a lot of, you know, a lot of stuff, I've personally seen guys trying to get, you know, someone who is trying to grab something away with just, you know, your bare hands. And I'll tell you, it's it's like it's watching a losing battle. It's really, really bad. If you've ever seen any kind of force on force scenarios where, you know, a weapon is involved and both people are trying to get at it, it can get ugly, really, really ugly, really, really quickly. Um, so creating stopping power, basically shutting shutting that person's movements down based on his or her anatomy, you know, keeping his muscle groups and um, you know, tendons and all that unable to send the message to do those things that he's doing to you. That's going to be the best approach to getting him to actually stop. Physically stopping the person is different from saying, you know, creating enough pain to get him to stop. If he wants that thing, he's going to go for it in the amount of time that it takes you to deliver pain. You know, especially, you know, if people are hopped up on drugs, the pain won't necessarily set in. Um, no muscle in that area, no connected muscle or tendons in that area, whether you're talking about, you know, anywhere really. Uh, no muscles in that area, no connected muscles to tendons in that area will get you results on anyone. You know, if you don't have the connections there, they cannot move. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter, drugs, you know, whatever. That cannot move. That cannot happen. Um, so let's just say, you know, again, we're retaining this weapon. From here, I could, you know, even if I have my folding knife, reaching all the way across here, we've gone over this, it's very obvious. So from here, you know, even, you know, just a something on my offside like this could be useful, but I'm talking about something that's useful with both hands, um, regardless of the situation. And so here I can grab like this. You know, this could be a cut to the person's forearm, to the person's bicep, and then I can simply shoot this blade out towards that person. That either sends a signal of back off, or that simply, you know, that cut is going to sever tendons and muscle tissue that basically keep him from being able to grab at anything. Cutting the bicep or the tricep probably from this position, if it's his dominant hand, cutting the tricep is going to keep him from being able to extend his arm out like this. So he's just going to have to basically pull in because this bicep is going to be all that's left of that part of his arm. So there's going to be no signal for him to be able to go grab. He's just going to be going, oh, you know, ouch. And a simple shootout like this that can, you know, as well as just being a push, you know, now we have a sharpened fist basically. So putting that out there really just, you know, it causes a sober person is just gonna, you know, go, oh, you know, crap, and move quickly. And you know, it's gonna be pretty much lethal to anyone who, you know, depending on where you're hitting, it's gonna be pretty much lethal to anyone who doesn't get that idea quickly. And while it's a terrible thing to think about, and we never want to use our blades in this way, bad things happen, plain and simple. You know, and that's all that can really be said about it. Keep in mind, too, that legally speaking, you would never, ever use any of this, any kind of lethal force, unless you're in fear of serious bodily injury or death. Um, you know, so just want to throw that out there. Don't do it unless, you know, unless there's no other way. I would personally run, you know, rather than use these techniques. But I'm assuming that, you know, the guy's got me backed up against a wall or tucked into a corner or whatever, um, and I need to defend myself, and it calls for lethal force. If someone's going for a gun, um, they're they're trying to kill you. Plain and simple. If someone's got their hands around your neck, that's lethal force. If there's three guys that are much bigger than you, that's that would scare me. I mean, makes sense to be a little bit afraid of more than one guy bigger than you wanting to hurt you. That's serious bodily injury right there at least. Um, so just making sure that you can reasonably justify the use of these techniques and of a weapon will definitely help. So that being said, moving on. The other nice thing about this is that I can quickly grab, even just clearing the shirt, I can quickly grab this knife with either hand and not even have to, really think about it too much. I can just kind of go like this, and grab it without an issue. So basically I could just be standing there as the situation kind of escalates a little bit, and he's got me backed up against a wall. I can't do anything, and maybe I don't know. Now comes the point where boom, he breaks a bottle, and I've got that. Obviously, that's not the end of it. If it is, great. If he sees the shiny blade and he just runs, all power to you. Great job. You did well. But if not, then that's why you need to train with these things. You need to be able to do that first. But this is just making the deployment of that knife simple for both hands, or for either hand, given a different situation, given different situations. That being said, folders are great. Fixed blades, not always legal. Depending on where you are, fixed blade may be a total no-no. And I've seen, there's lots of states and lots of areas where that's true. No fixed blades at all. Can't do it. All right. So a folder in that case is definitely the way to go. For me, I personally choose deep carry folders. And where you carry them, again, is going to be between 11 and 1 o'clock on your body. So I can get it with this hand very easily and shake it out. Maybe shake it out. Usually I just deploy it with my ring finger in a reverse grip like this. And again, you can shoot that out like that. Very simple. Same basic technique once it's out as the fixed blade. But again, folders, 9 times out of 10 are going to be slower unless they have some sort of wave feature. So, if you are allowed to carry something like that, the Spyderco Delica with the wave or the Enduro with the wave, both really good ideas. A little wave modification on Spyderco knives where you can, put the zip tie on there, make it a wave, good option there too. Just as long as the blade is comfortable for you, and that's the main thing here is comfort. You don't want to be sitting down and feel that thing just jabbing into your man bits and, be really uncomfortable just for that. You know what I mean? At that point, I would just take it out and put it in my pocket. But, you're going to want to be able to get to it easily with both hands, and without much of a problem. But getting it out, deploying it, in general with a folder is going to be slower. So just keep that in mind. If you have to have a folder, train with it, to make sure that you can actually get to it with some amount of speed. You don't want to be sitting there going, okay, take it out, okay, oh, almost, okay, now get it out, oh boy, and then be able to use it. You just want to be able to grab it and go. So training with a folder is definitely essential for something like that. But definitely a deep pocket carry. That way it's not jabbing up into your beer gut or whatever. Great option. This one in particular is a Spyderco Native. It's got a very deep pocket clip. You can see that little bit here is the only part that actually sticks out, which is nice because I can actually have something to grab onto, in that type of situation, but it's not so much where it's going to actually jab you. So, that's kind of nice to have. And the detent on it, make sure that the detent on that knife is very good too, because again, you're putting a blade near the family jewels. You want to make sure that that's not going to just, come out and then you go to sit down and oops, so keep in mind, safety. You want to make sure that detent is strong enough where just moving around throughout the day is not going to, cause that to open up and you to hurt yourself. With fixed blade, it's not so much an issue, um, as long as the retention uh, in that sheath is good enough. You know, obviously, if you have a very flimsy sheath and you keep bending over and it just falls out, then you have a bit of a problem. But other than that, you know, you should be relatively comfortable with carrying a fixed blade around. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions regarding anything that I've gone over, if you want me to go into something with a little bit more detail or give you some options or whatever, feel free to ask. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.